everyone, this is Anne-Marie from Alma Surfside Jewelry. Thank you so much for joining me for another beading tutorial today, and I just wanted to start off by wishing everyone a Happy New Year. Happy 2025. I'm filming this in early January, so I hope that everybody had a great holiday season. And for today's beading tutorial, we're going to be working on a herringbone necklace, and it has a rectangular shape. Okay, it's made up of, multiple rectangles, so it's a repetitive pattern. And what I've done is I've used seed beads in two different sizes, 11/0s, 15/0s, and I've also used number 3 Czech bugle beads on the outside of the rectangular shapes. So this pattern is very versatile. You could make a bracelet, a necklace, or even earrings using this. Okay, so it has a lot of flexibility. And what you're going to need for today's tutorial is fire line, and I always use 6 pound or 0.006 fire line. In the first pile of beads there on my mat are 11/0 Toho seed beads, and these are galvanized silver. Okay, and that's what they look like. In the second pile there on my mat are more Toho seed beads in 11/0. And these ones are white opaque luster. In the third pile there on my mat are 15/0 Toho seed beads, and these are in the same galvanized silver color. I believe they're also called aluminum on some websites, but the place that I bought them from says galvanized silver. So, I mean, it's the same silver tone, whether it's aluminum or the galvanized silver. And in the fourth pile there on my mat are Czech number 3 bugle beads, and these are in navy blue. And finally, in the last pile there on the far right hand side of my mat are more number 3 Czech bugle beads, and these are in light blue. Okay, so that's what they look like. So you'll see in my necklace here that I've alternated between the two different colors of bugle beads on the outside of each rectangle. But of course, if you only have one color of your Czech number 3s, you could do that as well, okay? Or even multiple different colors. So it just gives you something to play with in working on this pattern. Okay, and for the closure part of your necklace, you'll need a couple of jump rings, and in this case, I'm using stainless steel jump rings. And the reason why I've chosen silver is because I'm using silver seed beads in the main part of the necklace. And you'll also need a lobster clasp in the same color. So I've chosen stainless steel silver in this case. For tools, it's helpful to have flat nose pliers to work with the jump rings at the very end of your project. And it's also good to have scissors on hand so that you can cut your fire line as you work. And of course, you'll need a beading needle, and you can attach that to an arm's length worth of fire line just to get yourself started. Okay, so go ahead and gather all of your materials and let's get started. So to get started on my piece, I'm going to go ahead and pick up 2 seed beads in 11/0 in silver. And I'm going to push those down on my thread, leaving myself about a 6 to 10 inch tail. And I'm going to insert my needle up through the very first bead. Okay, so you want to have your beads sitting side by side. And I'm going to continue by picking up 2 of my white seed beads in 11/0. And I'm coming out of the bead there on the left, so I'm going to go down the bead on the right. And I'm going to go back up through the 2 beads there on the left-hand side. There we go. Okay, we're going to continue with that pattern by picking up 2 more 11/0s in white, and I'm going to go down the seed bead there on the right hand side and going back up through 2 of the beads on the left. There we go. Okay, so that's the basic herringbone stitch. We're going to continue by picking up 2 more seed beads in 11/0 in silver. Go down the one on the right and go back up through 2 on the left. There we go. Okay, so that's the center of our rectangular shape. And now you can turn it on its side, and we're going to start off with navy blue bugle beads. Okay, so with that bugle bead, we're going to go down that row. Okay, so my thread's coming out of the right hand side, and I'm going to go down the row by going through the opposite side, just like that. Okay, and pull on your thread. Now what we can do is create the topper. So I'm going to pick up one seed bead in white, a 15-0 in silver, and another 11-0 in white. Okay, go down the row there on the right hand side, so all 4 beads, and pull on your thread. Okay, pick up another bugle bead in navy blue, and you're going to go down that row of 4 beads by going into the silver one and exiting the other silver one. Okay, so the 4 beads there on the right hand column, and pull on your thread. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and pick up one white bead in 11-0, a 15-0 in silver, and another 11-0 in white. And you're going to go down the column there on the right hand side. Okay, exiting the silver bead at the bottom of that row. Okay, so you're going to go through 4 beads and pull on your thread. So now what I want you to do is to put your needle through the white bead there sitting at the bottom of your shape. Okay, the one on the right hand side. And you can go through the next white bead in 11-0, skip the 15-0 that's sitting there in the center. Okay, and then you can pick up a 15-0 and go down the bugle bead on the right hand side. Rotate your shape, pick up another 15-0 in silver, and go through the next white bead. Skip the silver bead and go down the next white bead. Okay, so that just creates more of a point at the top of your rectangle. And we're going to pick up another silver bead in 15-0 and go down the bugle bead. Okay, so we're just filling in all of the gaps around the outside of the rectangle. And now there's one more gap, so we'll need another 15-0. And we're going to go up through the next 2 beads. There we go. Okay, so that completes our first rectangular shape in our herringbone necklace. And we're going to create a connector by picking up a total of 3 seed beads in 15-0. And I'm going to go through the opposite side of the seed bead that I'm exiting. Okay. To reinforce that connector, you can go through all of the beads that you just added on. And back up through the bead there on the right, as well as the bead there in the center. Okay, and now we're ready to create our second rectangular shape. So to do that, I'm going to pick up 2 white beads in 11-0, and I'm going to go through the opposite side of the bead there that I'm exiting. Go through the bead there on the left. Okay, and then we're going to start our herringbone stitch by picking up 2 11-0s in silver. I'm coming out of the left, so I'm going to go down the bead on the right, and then back up through the 2 beads there on the left. Okay, make sure that the beads are stacked as tightly as possible. Okay, you don't want a huge gap. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up 2 more white beads in 11-0. going down the one on the right and back up 2 on the left. Okay, continue with 2 more white beads and 11-0. Going down the bead on the right and back up 2 beads on the left. Okay, we're going to finish off this row by picking up 2 seed beads and 11-0 in silver, and I'm going to go down the bead on the right and again back up 2 on the left. Okay, so that's what you want to have at this point. And then what we're going to do is attach the bugle bead on the outside of our shape. Okay, so in this case I'm going to pick up the light blue bugle because we're alternating colors, and I'm going to go through 4 of the seed beads here on the outside of my shape. So I'm entering the silver one up here and I'm exiting the silver one at the bottom. So that just attaches the bugle to the outside of our shape, like that. Okay, so now that I'm exiting this row here on the left-hand column, what I can do is pick up one of my seed beads, an 11-0 in white, a 15-0 in silver, and another 11-0 in white. Okay, I'm going to go down the row on the right-hand side, so the first 4 beads right there, and pull on my thread. Okay, the last thing I have to do here is put a light blue bugle bead on the outside of my rectangle. So I'm going to enter the silver bead and go down that row again, so those 4 beads, and pull on my thread. Okay, I want you to go through the white bead below and through the next white bead. And now we're just going to go around the shape using 15-0s, okay, to fill in all of the gaps. So I've got my silver 15-0. I'm going to go down the bugle bead, pick up another 15-0, go through the next white bead. Okay, I'm going to skip the silver bead and go down the next white bead, and that just helps to create a point, and pick up another silver 15-0, go down the bugle. Okay, so you can see how this is filling in all the gaps around the rectangle, and now there's one more gap, so I need another 15-0, and I'm going to go through the white bead. Okay, so that shape is done. And now I just need to get my needle back to the top so that I can create my next unit. Okay, so I'm just going to work my needle around the outside of the shape and down the bugle bead. Okay, until I get back up to the top of my shape by going through the next 3 seed beads. Okay, so to create the next connector, you want to be sure that you're exiting the 15-0 sitting there in the center of your shape. And we're going to go ahead and pick up 3 of our 15-0s in silver. And I'm going to go through the opposite side of the bead that I'm exiting. To reinforce that connector, I'm going to go through all of the beads that I just added on. And back up through the next 2 15-0s. Okay, so you want to be coming out of the one that's sitting in the center, and you can go ahead and pick up 2 of your white 11-0s, And I'm going to go through the opposite side of this bead. Okay, and then up through the one on the left. Right there. Okay, pick up 2 of your 11 O's in silver and go down the bead there on the right. And then back up the 2 on the left. There we go. Okay. Pick up 2 more 11 O's in white. And go down the bead there on the right. And back up 2 of the beads on the left-hand side, so the silver and the white. There we go. Okay. Continue by picking up 2 more 11 O's in white. Go down the bead on the right and back up 2 of the beads on the left. Okay, to finish off that row, I'm going to pick up 2 more seed beads in 11O silver. And I'm going to go down the bead on the right and back up 2 of the beads there on the left. There we go. Okay, so that row is done. And at this point I can attach my navy blue Czech bugle bead to the outside of this shape. So I'm going to go through the silver bead and go down the next 4 beads, just like that, so that it attaches to the outside. Okay, at this point I'm going to pick up a white 11O, a silver 15O, and another white 11O, 3 beads, and I'm going to go down the next row there on the right by going through the first 4 beads. Okay, we need to attach our other bugle beads, so I've picked up a navy one, and I'm going to go down that section by going through the silver, white, white, and silver, so those 4 beads there, and pulling on my thread. Okay, so that just helps to create the rectangular shape. And now what I need to do is enter the white seed bead below. Okay, skip the 15O there in the center and go through the next white bead. Okay, and now I just need to fill in all of the gaps around the outside of my shape by using 15Os in silver. So I'm going to pick up 1, go through the bugle, pick up another 15O, and go through the next white seed bead. I can skip the 15O in the center and put my needle through the next white bead. Okay, so that just helps to prop up that little 15O there in the center of your shape. And I'm going to pick up another 15O, go down the next bugle. Okay, so you'll notice that there's one more gap, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up a 15O in silver, and I'm going to go through the white bead. Right there. Okay, and now I just need to work my needle around the outside of the shape until I get back up to the top, until I exit the 15O that's sitting there in the very center of the shape. And then I can create my next connector. Okay, so we're going to stop the tutorial there. And of course I'm going to go over the closure with you, but I just wanted to give you, an overview of how you're going to create this pattern. And of course, if you need me to review any of the steps, you can go back in the video and take a look at each individual unit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread my needle on the piece that I already worked on, and we're going to create the closure together. You'll notice on this side I've already done one of the closures, which is just a simple loop using 5 of my 15-0 seed beads in silver. So we're going to do that together on the opposite side. Okay, so to create the closure, as I mentioned, we're going to pick up a total of 5 15-0s in silver. Okay, and you want to be sure that you're exiting the silver bead there in the center of your piece, the 15-0, sitting between the two 11-0s in white. And you're going to go through the opposite side of the bead that you're exiting. So this one here. And that just creates a simple circle shape. And then to reinforce that, you can go through all of the beads that you just added on. There we go. And if you want to go through that again, you're welcome to do that. Okay, but you want to make sure that you go through it at least twice in order to make sure that it stands up properly. And then you can go through the white seed bead sitting right next to the 15-0 in silver. And you can go on the inside of your shape and create a knot. And pull tight. Okay, and then go through the next bead, the 15-0 in silver, and you can create another knot right there. And pull tight. And go ahead and cut off the extra thread there. Set that aside, and you can pick up your flat nose pliers and one of your jump rings. Insert it through the loop and close it back up. And for the other side, you're going to pick up the other jump ring, open it up, insert the lobster claw, and put the jump ring through that other circle on the other side and close it back up. Okay, so that's what creates your closure. You're going to open up the lobster claw and attach it to the jump ring. Okay, so that's what finishes the piece. So that concludes our beading tutorial for today, this super easy herringbone necklace, and I think it would be fun to play around with the colors of the bugle beads, you know, just to experiment with that. And anyways, thank you so much for watching today, and if you haven't already done so, please take a minute to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the beading supplies that I've used for today's project, I'll always include links to Amazon in the description box. Wherever possible. I know that they don't carry every single color and style of bead, but when it's possible, I do include those links. And I'll see you in the next tutorial. Okay, take care. Bye for now.